In today's tutorial, we're going to be painting this blue abstract painting, so grab your brushes and let's begin. And today I'm going to be doing a painting testing out some of the products from that kit. They're palette knives, a canvas pad, which I'm very excited to try because this is a flexible canvas pad and I've never painted on something like this before. I'm also going to be using their disposable painting palette. I have some mid yellow and crimson red, some crimson red on its own, some deep green, Cerulean Blue, Prussian Blue and titanium white, a jar of water, spray bottle, a flat palette knife. I'm also going to be using the paintbrush kit that it came with. I'm not always a dirty rag cloth that you can use to wipe up on your brushes and your palette knives. Using my palette knife, I'm going to mix in some of the colours. So I'm going to take some Prussian Blue. I'm going to add in some white. And then what I'm going to do is just clean off my palette knife. And I'm going to mix orange with the mid yellow and the crimson red. And this is going to act as our neutralizer for the blue. I'm just getting that orange tone. Okay. Now taking a very small amount and I'm going to be mixing that into the blue. So now I'm going to mix these colours together. Hopefully get a pale blue colour. Okay, that's a bit too green, so I'm going to add a bit more Prussian Blue and I'm going to add a bit more white to it. I'm going to add more white. I might add a touch of Cerulean Blue just to bring back, to make it more blue toned rather than green toned. We kind of have this very almost tealy blue colour, which I'm okay with. I quite like that. Neutralize some of the Cerulean Blue that I have, so I'm going to take some of that Cerulean Blue and add a tiny bit of orange into it, and I'm going to also mix that up. Okay, clean off my palette knife just to make sure no paint sticks on it. Just to make sure that I'm not going to have any paint. I've never used this before, so I don't know if it's going to leak through. I don't know if it's primed. So I'm going straight onto the canvas. I'm going to straight away go in with my tube. And I'm going to choose a center where I want it to be very light. So I'm going to choose this corner here. I'm going to go in with that first color that we mixed. I'm just going to pop that there. Then I'm going to go in with the second color. And then I'm going to go in with some of that Prussian Blue. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is grab my flat palette knife and I'm going to start by bringing out that pale colour that we had first. And then I'm going to be going in with the next colour, which is kind of this pale, almost green. And I'm just kind of dragging everything around. We're just getting a nice blend from all of the colours. So far my impression of this canvas pad is as if I'm painting on raw canvas, so it doesn't seem as primed as your regular as your standard canvas would be. I'm just going to brush that off, and I'm going to let that come off. Kind of bringing down the excess paint as well. Okay, now I'm going to go in with some white. I'm just going to use my palette knife. I'm going to get some of that Prussian Blue and just add some contrast and a bit of darkness into the painting. And then I'm going to go in with some titanium white and cerulean blue, just to add a little bit of, we're just kind of playing back and forth with color. And the canvas is being very, very nice to work with. It's giving me plenty of time. Something I'm noticing straight away, on a normal canvas, this would probably be already dry, but I actually am having quite a good amount of time to be able to work with some to start thinking about where I want my flowers to go. Okay, that green really complements the color very well. As I can see that the canvas is being so forgiving and it's giving me a lot of time to play around. I just want to add hints of yellow. Into the painting. I don't want this green. I need just the yellow and only yellow and a bit of titanium white. The paint is also very, very nice. I've used all different kinds of paint. I've used the most expensive and the cheapest, and I would definitely say this is up there with some of the most expensive brands I've used, so the quality feels incredible. Okay, now once I've done that, I'm going to kind of go in and we're going to blend it out, right? So we don't want it to be too obvious. I want hints of yellow. I'm going in and blending it out. So I've got this, I actually really like the canvas pad. This has really surprised me in a very good way. Okay, long flat brush. So I'm going to dip that into water. So I'm starting off with my long flat brush. I'm going to take some of this Cerulean Blue colour. Also going to grab some of that Prussian Blue, and I'm going to see where I can see some darkness, and I'm just going to go in and add kind of like a petal that can exist there. Maybe do some more blue. Okay. think that looks quite beautiful actually. I'm going to maybe do another flower over here. I'm going to go in with some of that green that we did before, and I'm going to also pick up some of the darker green that we mixed, and I'm going to do the same thing here. And just add those darker greens, and I'm just slowly putting in the petals. I'm going to mix more of that green, so I'm going to get some of the deep green and some of the crimson red, some of the orange mix that we did in the beginning. Okay, I'm going to do maybe a couple of petals, just existing as well throughout the painting. Okay, and then with the dagger brush, I'm going to go in and I'm going to take some yellow. I'm going to go into the center of these florals that we've just put down. Okay, right. So, I'm going to add in some yellow dots. Have to be very careful because the paint is still wet, so it's picking it up as we are. I want to go back in with my green, maybe my Prussian blue as well. I'm going to try and do another little flower, but just over here. Like so, just to add another bloom into the picture. Okay, add in some pretty little pink flowers. Again, just kind of being very careful. I'm just using my palette knife to do this. Just want to give off the impression of flowers. Okay, don't want to overdo it too much. Back in again, you can kind of break up the palette knife that you've done. Maybe do a bit of dragging down. I use my palette knife to create some lines, going in with some white, but I think it's going to come off a bit better. Palette knife, and then going in until I have paint like this, and then just kind of can add some lines through the painting. So, and then if it's can just kind of drag it down. And that is the final results for today's tutorial. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to subscribe, like and comment. I post new videos every Tuesday and Friday. Let me know what you thought about today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.